Hey everyone, welcome back to economics classes, the channel where I teach economics. Today I'll be teaching class 9 chapter 2 people as a resource. Before starting the class, brief introduction about myself. I'm Sunidhi Arya and I have done graduation in economics from Crodimal College, Delhi University, and right now I'm pursuing masters in economics. As I have completed the chapter 1, so I'll be starting chapter 2 people as a resource today. Before going deep into the class, brief overview what all we will study in this class. In this class, we will try to understand population and what is the population that makes as an assets and liability. When we talk about the human capital, we mean that we are trying to see population as an asset rather than a liability. So let's start the class. This chapter is an attempt to explain population as an asset for an economy rather than liability. As we all know that India is the second most populous country in the world. Population is increasing day by day. So there is a less resource available which a person needs. So we need to convert our growing population into the human resource. We can convert the population into the human resource by using three factors. These are the three factors which makes a population into a human resource. First one is education, second is health, and third skill. Until or unless these three qualities are not existing in the population, it is not considered as the human resource. So first condition, that person should be educated. Second condition, person must be healthy. That means he should be capable to do work. And third condition is skill. The person should have a certain kind of a skill set so that he could do the productive work in the economy of the country. As we have seen that human capital is made up of these three factors, now we will see that when we say that people as a resource, first of all, we need to understand what do we mean by the resource. Anything that gives us utility is known as resource. Utility means want satisfying power. For example, you are hungry and you want a food. You eat something so that your hunger gets satisfied. In that sense, the food you are eating is giving you the utility. On the same way, resources gives us the utility, and people are considered as a resource when they give utility to the family, to the society, to the economy, and to the world as whole. So when we talk about people as a resources, they must give some utility to this world. And this is an attempt that we considered population as an asset rather than liability. What is asset? Anything that gives you the positive outcomes. And what is liability? That increases your burden. When we talk about people as a resource, we try that we can see the population's positive side, not as the negative sides. Other definition could be when we see the country's working people in terms of their existing productive skills and abilities. In the country's population, how much they do have existing productive skills and ability. They have the productivity skills and abilities, so they will contribute to the GNP. What is GNP? GNP is gross national income of a country. GNP is the total amount of goods and services produced by the nation. All the person who have the nationality Indian have produced goods and services. When we count them, when we add them, it becomes the GNP. To the increasing population, it is more resources needed, more population need more food, more expenditure, shelter. When a child is born, he needs all the facilities to survive. And as the population increases day by day, our that resources per capita gets decreased. Suppose this is a farm in which 100 quintals of wheat are produced in a year. Now, earlier there were 1,000 people in the entire village. This is a hypothetical scenario I'm trying to explain. In the reality, much more population is there. So 100 quintal and 1,000 people. Now, since I have told you that population increase, suppose these 1,000 people has now 3,000 people. But land is 1 hectare. Na? When we make an investment in the child's education, health, and skill, we are bound to get some positive returns. Implication like the human capital formation. There are two kinds of capital: physical capital and human capital. Physical capital means road, infrastructures, and all the things which we require. Fixed term investment, as I've told you in chapter 1. For more detail, watch that part. Physical capital and human capital are the two bases for the growth of an economy. And when we invest in people's education, health, skill, and capabilities, we are investing our money to produce human capital formation. And this human capital formation is similar to the physical capital formation. As we do get return from the physical capital formation, we are bound to get the positive returns from the human capital formation. And as much as we do invest in the human capital, we do get the higher and higher return, because an educated person who has certain kind of degree and certain kind of skill set is bound to get the more salary rather than the person who doesn't have any educational degree. That is the reason a daily wage earner less, comparatively much lower amount than the person who has certain kind of medical or educational or technical degrees. And apart from that, education, educated society, and increasing human capital, society also gains. I'm an educated person and my health is really good, so I give the benefits to the society in an indirect way. And how I'm benefiting the society? Because if I do have a job, I do have a skill set, I won't be indulging in the criminal activities. And that is the biggest advantage to. Apart from that, human capital is considered as a superior to other capital. And why it is considered to the superior to other capital? Because until or unless we do not have human capital, all the other capital cannot be used. Be it the physical capital, be it the working capital, be it the fixed capital, we are bound to use all these capitals only with the human capital. Suppose we have a plot available, we have fixed capital, we have working capital, we have raw materials, we have everything, but we don't have a person who cannot arrange all these activities and produce a good. So there is no use of such capital and money. That is why human capital is superior to all other capital. Now we will try to understand this concept more thoroughly with the comparative analysis of two boys. This is the story given in your textbook. Story is of two boys. One is Sakal and second one is Vilas. They both live in the village. First, let's study about the Sakal. Sakal and Vilas are two boys about which we are going to. So let's say this is Sakal. Sakal is a 12-year-old boy, and his mother Sheila, she doesn't work anywhere. She looked after the domestic chores, and his father is Bhuta, who works as an agricultural laborer. I told you earlier that agricultural laborers are the people who works on other people's farms. They do not own their own land. So Bhuta and Sheila were eager to send Sakal to the schools. So they send him to the school, and when they sent him to the school, they found out that Sakal is a very intelligent student and he passed higher secondary. And once he passed higher secondary, his father persuaded him to continue his further education, but they did not have any money. So his father took the loan from the bank to his vocational study. What is vocational study? Vocational studies are such short-term courses which gives you the direct employment abilities. The vocational studies in computer, and he did it very well with a quite good percentage of marks. And after completing his vocational course, he got job in the software industry in an IT firm, and later on he developed his own software, due to which he got the reward from his employer. Now let's talk about the Vilas, 11-year-old boy who lives in the same village as the Sakal does. His father Mahesh was a fisherman, and he died when Vilas was just 2 years old. When he died, entire responsibility came onto his mother. So his mother Geeta, she started working as a fisherman. What she does, she collects the fishes from the nearby ponds, and there are some people who owns the ponds, and she used to collect fish from there and used to sell fish in the nearby market, which is known as the mandi. She used to sell that, and whatever she used to get the money, she used to feed it to the family, and the money was very meager, that is 20 rupees per day, sometimes 30 rupees per day. Since Vilas did not get proper nutrition and he could not get proper education, he soon developed the disease of arthritis. There was no medical facilities available to him. There was no education when it comes to the Vilas case. So one day what happened that his mother fall ill and he doesn't have anyone to look after their family. So in compulsion, Vilas had started working and now he sells the fish in the market and he earned 20 to 30 rupees per day. Now we can see in the Sakal case, there was an investment made in the education, in the healthcare. In the Vilas case, there was no investment made in education and healthcare. So after a point of time, Sakal was able to earn very good amount of money comparatively to the Vilas, and this cycle keeps going. When there is education added into the person life, their quality of labor increases, and this quality of labor increases their productivity. With the same amount of time, they are able to work more, and when their productivity increases, there is an economic growth in the country. Now we need to understand two cycles. First one is virtuous cycle and second one is vicious cycles. Virtuous cycle. Before understanding the cycle, we will understand what is virtue. Virtue is a term which means good habits. When we talk about the virtuous cycle, we means good habits and good knowledge and good healthcare is being transferred from one person to another person. As we all know that parents do spend more on their child education, they provide them nutritious food, hygienic food, and they do take care of health rather than the uneducated person. So benefit of educated parents goes to the child as well. So this is a cycle. Suppose this is a person who is earning really well and who is an educated person. He has education and he is earning suppose 1 lakh rupees per month. Now he has two children. So he will spend more on education and health. And since he is spending more on education and health, they are bound to have good education and health. And then their children will have more education and health. So this process goes on and this is known as the virtuous cycle. The benefit of doing good habits is transferring from one person to the another person, from one generation to the another person. Now there is another concept we need to understand is of vicious cycle. Vicious means bad. Virtue and vices are two things which are opposite to each other. Virtue means good things, versus vicious means bad things. So when parents are not educated, they do not have sufficient income to send their children to school, what does they do? First of all, suppose this is a person who earns 3000 rupees per month, and in these 3000 per month, first of all, generally poor people have more children. Suppose he has 5 children. And why poor people have more children? Because they do see them as the earning prospects. More children, more earning. Because they do not need to spend on the education and health. जितने ज्यादा बच्चे होंगे उतना ज्यादा कमाएंगे, क्योंकि खर्चा कुछ करना नहीं है. And that is the tendency in rural area. And he has 5 children. So you can see 3000 divided by 5. How much less per capita income they can expend on one child. Since he doesn't have education, he won't be able to give their children an education. Then there would be very less amount of education available to their children as well. And this process will go on. Less income will generate less opportunity. Less opportunity means less education, health, since their last generation have less education and health, their next generation is also going to the less education and health, and that is the process continues till the third generation or the fourth generation, until some external factor intervenes, for example government's poverty alleviation schemes intervenes. I hope these concepts are clear to you. That's it for today's video. In next videos, I'll be discussing about economic activities and quality of population and most probably the unemployment. If you are liking the class, please do like it, share it. After subscribing, make sure to hit the notification bell on so that whenever I upload the part 2 of this class, you get an instant notification to that. Thank you so much.